let me ask you something. What if I told you that after the age of 50, your body is not slowing down by accident, it's actually responding to what you're no longer demanding from it? Because here's the truth most men never hear. Testosterone doesn't just decline with age, it declines with inactivity, poor stimulus, and the wrong kind of exercise. And that's why two men at 55 can look completely different. One feels tired, gains belly fat, loses muscle, and struggles with confidence, while the other is strong, energized, mentally sharp, and still feels powerful in his own body. So what's the difference? It's not genetics, it's not luck. It's specific movement patterns that tell your body, stay young, stay strong, keep producing testosterone, Dawn. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Not 20 exercises, not confusing routines, just 5 highly targeted, science-backed movements that directly signal your body to increase testosterone naturally. But here's why you need to stay till the end. Most men think walking, light cardio, or random gym machines are enough, and that mistake is silently lowering their testosterone every single day. By the end of this talk, you'll know exactly what to do, what to avoid, and how to train smarter, not harder after 50. Because your age doesn't define your testosterone, your actions do. Testosterone doesn't suddenly disappear when a man turns 50, it gradually declines, often beginning as early as the mid-30s. But the real issue is how sharply that decline accelerates when the body no longer receives the right signals to maintain it. Many men are told this drop is normal, and while there is a natural age-related decrease, what's often ignored is how lifestyle choices amplify or slow down that process. Testosterone is not just about muscle or masculinity. It plays a critical role in energy levels, mood stability, fat distribution, bone density, cognitive sharpness, and even cardiovascular health. When levels fall too low, men may experience fatigue that sleep doesn't fix, increased belly fat despite eating the same foods, reduced motivation, weaker strength, and a noticeable dip in confidence and drive. These changes are often misattributed to aging itself, when in reality they are strongly linked to how the body is being used or not used. The human body operates on a simple principle. It adapts to demand. When physical demand decreases, the body becomes more efficient at doing less, and that includes producing fewer anabolic hormones like testosterone. This is why sedentary lifestyles are one of the biggest contributors to hormonal decline. Sitting for long periods, avoiding resistance-based movement, and relying only on low-effort activities like casual walking send a clear message to the body that high levels of strength and power are no longer necessary. In response, the body conserves energy by downregulating testosterone production. On the other hand, when the body is exposed to short bursts of intensity, heavy resistance, and movements that recruit large muscle groups, it interprets this as a need to remain strong and capable, triggering hormonal pathways that support testosterone production. Another key factor is muscle mass. Muscle is not just for appearance, it acts as a metabolic engine and a hormonal ally. As men age, they naturally lose muscle in a process called sarcopenia, and this loss is directly associated with lower testosterone levels. Without intentional effort to maintain or rebuild muscle, the cycle becomes self-reinforcing. Lower testosterone leads to less muscle, and less muscle further reduces testosterone. This is why exercise is not optional after 50, it becomes essential. However, not all exercise has the same effect. Long-duration cardio, while beneficial for heart health, does not significantly stimulate testosterone, and when overdone can even elevate cortisol, a stress hormone that suppresses testosterone. Sleep quality, stress levels, and body fat percentage also play critical roles. Poor sleep disrupts hormonal rhythms, particularly the nighttime release of testosterone, while chronic stress keeps cortisol elevated, interfering with the body's ability to produce and utilize testosterone effectively. Increased body fat, especially around the abdomen, contributes to higher levels of an enzyme called aromatase, which converts testosterone into estrogen, further lowering available testosterone levels. This creates a situation where the body is not only producing less testosterone, but also losing more of what it does produce. Understanding these mechanisms is crucial because it shifts the narrative from passive aging to active control, where the right kind of physical stimulus becomes a powerful tool to maintain strength, vitality, and hormonal balance well beyond the age of 50. There's a common misconception that exercise is just about burning calories or improving appearance. appearance, but when it comes to testosterone, movement acts more like a biological signal than a simple physical activity. Your body is constantly interpreting what you do and adjusting your internal chemistry to match those demands. When you engage in the right kind of exercise, you're more likely to see results. You're essentially telling your body that strength, resilience, and performance are still required, and in response, it activates hormonal pathways that support testosterone production. This is not random or accidental, it's deeply rooted in how human physiology has evolved. For most of human history, survival depended on bursts of strength, speed, and power, and testosterone was a key hormone driving those abilities. When modern life removes those demands, the body adapts by reducing the need for that hormone. The most powerful trigger for testosterone release is mechanical tension combined with metabolic stress. This means exercises that challenge your muscles through resistance, especially when multiple muscle groups are involved, create a cascade of hormonal responses. When you lift something heavy or push your muscles close to fatigue, your body experiences a controlled form of stress. In response, it releases not only testosterone, but also growth hormone and other anabolic signals that help repair and strengthen muscle tissue. This repair process is where the real transformation happens, because the body doesn't just recover, it adapts to handle that level of stress more efficiently in the future. That adaptation includes maintaining or even increasing testosterone levels to support ongoing physical demands. Intensity plays a crucial role here. Low-intensity activities like slow walking or light cycling are excellent for general health, but they don't create the kind of stimulus needed to significantly impact testosterone. On the other hand, short bursts of higher intensity effort where your heart rate rises and your muscles are challenged send a much stronger signal. This is why certain types of training, like resistance training and interval-based workouts, are far more effective for hormonal optimization than steady-state cardio. It's not about exercising longer, it's about exercising smarter, with intention and purpose. Another important factor is the size of the muscle groups being activated. Exercises that involve larger muscles like those in the legs, back, and chest tend to produce a greater hormonal response because they require more energy and coordination. When your body recruits these large muscle groups, it amplifies the overall demand placed on your system, which in turn amplifies the hormonal output. This is one of the reasons why full body movements are so effective compared to isolated exercises that target only a single small muscle. Consistency is where many people fall short. The hormonal benefits of exercise are not permanent, they are responsive and adaptive. A single workout may temporarily boost testosterone, but it's the repeated signal over time that teaches the body to maintain higher baseline levels. Irregular or inconsistent training sends mixed messages, while a structured and consistent routine reinforces the need for strength and vitality. Over time, this creates a new normal where the body becomes more efficient at producing and utilizing testosterone, supporting not just physical performance, but also energy, mood, and overall well-being. Strength training stands at the center of testosterone optimization because it directly challenges the body in a way that no other form of exercise can replicate. When you lift weights or perform resistance-based movements, you are not just building muscle, you are activating a complex hormonal response designed to help your body adapt to physical stress. This response includes the release of testosterone, which plays a key role in repairing muscle fibers, increasing strength, and improving overall resilience. For men over 50, this becomes especially important because the natural decline in muscle mass and hormone production can be slowed and in many cases partially reversed through consistent resistance training. The key is not just lifting weights, but how you lift them. The most effective approach involves using moderate to heavy resistance that challenges your muscles within a controlled number of repetitions. When a muscle is pushed close to fatigue, it creates microscopic damage in the muscle fibers, which signals the body to repair and rebuild them stronger than before. This rebuilding process requires testosterone, and over time, your body becomes more efficient at producing it in response to these demands. It's a cycle where effort leads to adaptation, and adaptation leads to improved hormonal balance. Compound movements are particularly powerful in this process because they engage multiple muscle groups at the same time. Exercises like squats, deadlifts, push-ups, and rows require coordination between the upper and lower body, forcing the body to recruit more muscle fibers fibers and expend more energy. This increased demand amplifies the hormonal response, making these movements far more effective than isolated exercises like bicep curls or leg extensions. When larger muscle groups are activated together, the body perceives the activity as more significant, and the resulting testosterone response reflects that. Another critical factor is progression. The body adapts quickly, and if the same level of resistance is used repeatedly without challenge, the stimulus weakens over time. Progressive overload, generally increasing the weight, repetitions, or intensity, is essential to keep the body responding. This doesn't mean pushing to extremes or risking injury, especially after 50, but it does mean consistently asking your muscles to do slightly more than they're used to. Even small increases, when applied regularly, can maintain the stimulus needed for testosterone production. Rest and recovery are equally important in this equation. Testosterone is not just released during exercise, it plays a significant role during recovery when the body repairs and strengthens muscle tissue. Without adequate rest between sessions, the body can shift into a state of chronic stress, increasing cortisol levels and potentially suppressing testosterone. This is why a balanced routine where intense training is followed by proper recovery is far more effective than constant, exhaustive workouts. Form and control should always take priority over lifting heavier weights. Poor technique not only increases the risk of injury, but also reduces the effectiveness of the exercise by limiting muscle engagement. Controlled, deliberate movements ensure that the targeted muscles are fully activated, maximizing both strength gains and hormonal benefits. Over time, this approach builds a foundation of strength, stability, and confidence that supports long-term health. Ultimately, strength training is not just about looking stronger, it's about sending a clear and consistent message to your body that strength, that is still required. When that message is reinforced through proper technique, progressive challenge, and adequate recovery, the body responds by maintaining the hormonal environment needed to support that strength, energy, and vitality well beyond the age of 50. High-intensity interval training, often referred to as H1IT, works as a powerful hormonal trigger because it combines short bursts of intense effort with brief periods of recovery, creating a unique kind of stress that your body interprets as urgent and demanding. Unlike steady, moderate exercise, this pattern forces your system to rapidly shift between high output and recovery, activating both your muscular and cardiovascular systems at the same time. For men over 50, this type of stimulus is especially valuable because it can reignite hormonal responses that tend to become less responsive with age, particularly when the body has adapted to a more sedentary or low-intensity routine. What makes HIIT so effective for testosterone is the intensity. During those short bursts, whether it's sprinting, fast cycling, or explosive bodyweight movements, your body recruits a large number of muscle fibers, especially the fast twitch fibers that are most closely associated with strength and power. These fibers require more energy and a greater hormonal response to function effectively. As a result, your body releases a surge of anabolic hormones, including testosterone, to meet that demand. It's not about how long you exercise, but how intensely you challenge your system in those brief windows of effort. Another important aspect is how HIIT influences body composition. Excess body fat, particularly around the abdomen, is closely linked to lower testosterone levels because fat tissue can convert testosterone into estrogen. HIIT has been shown to be highly effective at reducing this type of fat, partly because it elevates your metabolic rate, not just during the workout, but for hours afterward. This afterburn effect means your body continues to burn calories at a higher rate even when you're resting, which supports fat loss and helps create a more favorable hormonal environment. Time efficiency is another reason HIIT stands out. Many men believe they need to spend long hours exercising to see results, but that often leads to fatigue, inconsistency, or even overtraining. HIIT challenges that idea by delivering a wrong hormonal and metabolic stimulus in a much shorter period. A well-structured session can last as little as 15 to 20 minutes, making it easier to stay consistent without feeling overwhelmed. This consistency is what ultimately drives long-term hormonal benefits. However, intensity must be balanced with recovery, especially after 50. The goal is not to push to exhaustion every day, but to introduce controlled, high-effort intervals that your body can recover from effectively. Overdoing HIIT can elevate stress hormones like cortisol, which can counteract the benefits by suppressing testosterone. This is why limiting HIIT sessions to a few times per week, while combining combining them with strength training and adequate rest creates the best overall effect. Proper form and gradual progression are also essential. Jumping straight into maximal effort without preparation increases the risk of injury and reduces sustainability. Starting with manageable intervals and gradually increasing intensity allows the body to adapt safely while still receiving the hormonal stimulus. Over time, as your fitness improves, those bursts of effort become more powerful and the body becomes more responsive. In essence, HIIT acts as a wake-up call to your system, reminding it that speed, power, and resilience are still required. When used strategically, it doesn't just improve fitness, it helps restore a hormonal environment that supports energy, strength, and vitality in a way that traditional, low-intensity exercise simply cannot match. Compound lower body movements are some of the most powerful tools you have for naturally stimulating testosterone, and the reason comes down to one simple fact. Your legs contain the largest muscle groups in your entire body. When you engage muscles like the quadriceps, hamstrings, and glutes all at once, you create a level of demand that your body cannot ignore. This isn't just a localized effort, it becomes a full body event that requires coordination, stability, and a significant amount of energy. In response, your body increases the production of anabolic hormones, including testosterone, to support that level of work and recovery. Movements like squats, lunges, and deadlifts are especially effective because they recruit multiple joints and muscle groups simultaneously. Unlike isolated exercises that focus on a single muscle, these compound patterns force your body to work as a unit. When you lower into a squat, for example, your hips, knees, and ankles are all involved, while your core stabilizes your spine and your upper body maintains balance. This integrated effort amplifies the signal sent to your brain and endocrine system, telling your body that strength and structural integrity are still essential. That signal is what drives the hormonal response. Another reason these movements are so impactful is the sheer amount of load they can handle. Your lower body is capable of moving heavier weights than your upper body, which means you can create more mechanical tension, a key driver of muscle growth and testosterone release. Even if you're not lifting extremely heavy, the relative challenge placed on these large muscle groups is enough to trigger adaptation. Over time, as you gradually increase resistance or improve your control and depth, the stimulus continues to evolve, keeping your body responsive. These exercises also play a critical role in preserving functional strength. After the age of 50, maintaining the ability to sit, stand, climb stairs, and move with stability becomes increasingly important. Compound lower body movements directly translate to these real-life actions, improving balance, coordination, and joint health. This functional benefit reinforces consistency because the improvements are not just visible, they are felt in everyday life. And consistency, as always, is what sustains the hormonal benefits. There is also a metabolic advantage. Because these movements involve so much muscle mass, they require more energy both during and after the workout. This helps regulate body fat levels, which is crucial for maintaining healthy testosterone. As body fat decreases, particularly around the midsection, the body becomes more efficient at preserving testosterone rather than converting it into estrogen. This creates a more favorable internal environment for hormonal balance. Technique, however, is everything. Performing these movements with proper form ensures that the right muscles are activated while minimizing stress on the joints. Controlled movement, appropriate depth, and a stable core are far more important than simply adding more weight. For many men, especially those returning to exercise after a long break, starting with body weight or light resistance is not only safer but also highly effective when done correctly. As strength and confidence build, progression can be introduced gradually. Recovery and frequency must also be managed carefully. Because these exercises are demanding, they place a significant load on the nervous system as well as the muscles. Allowing adequate rest between sessions ensures that the body has time to repair and adapt, which is where the real hormonal benefits occur. Training the lower body 2 to 3 times per week with sufficient recovery provides a strong and consistent stimulus without tipping into overtraining. Ultimately, compound lower body movements send one of the clearest signals your body can receive: that strength, power, and stability are still required for survival. When that signal is delivered consistently and intelligently, urgently, the body responds by maintaining the hormonal foundation needed to support those demands, reinforcing not just physical capability but overall vitality and resilience as you age. Mobility and core stability are often overlooked when it comes to testosterone, but ignoring them is one of the biggest mistakes men over 50 make. Because while heavy lifting and high intensity training create the initial hormonal stimulus, your body can only sustain that stimulus if it moves efficiently and remains injury-free. Mobility is what allows your joints to move through their full range of motion without restriction, and core stability is what keeps your body controlled, balanced, and protected during every movement. Without these two foundations, even the best strength or interval program becomes limited, inconsistent, and eventually unsustainable. As the body ages, joints naturally become stiffer, connective tissues lose elasticity, and movement patterns become restricted, especially if you spend long hours sitting. This stiffness doesn't just affect flexibility, it changes how your muscles activate. When certain joints can't move properly, other muscles are forced to compensate, leading to inefficient movement and increased risk of strain or injury. Once pain or discomfort enters the picture, training intensity drops, consistency fades, and the hormonal benefits of exercise begin to decline. In this way, poor mobility indirectly contributes to lower testosterone by reducing your ability to train effectively. Core stability plays an equally critical role, but it's often misinterpreted. I understood. It's not just about having visible abs, it's about your body's ability to resist unwanted movement and maintain proper alignment under load. Every time you lift a weight, perform a squat, or even walk with speed and intention, you are building strength and confidence. Your core is working to stabilize your spine and transfer force between your upper and lower body. A weak or unstable core reduces the efficiency of these movements, meaning your muscles don't generate as much force, and the overall stimulus to your body is diminished. Less stimulus means a weaker signal for testosterone production. There's also a neurological component to this. When your body feels stable and controlled, your nervous system allows you to produce more force safely. This increased force production enhances muscle activation, which in turn strengthens the hormonal response. On the other hand, if your body senses instability or restriction, it subconsciously limits how much effort you can exert as a protective mechanism. That limitation reduces both performance and the hormonal impact of your workouts. Incorporating mobility work doesn't require long, complicated routines. Simple, consistent movements that target the hips, shoulders, and spine can dramatically improve how your body performs. Dynamic stretches, controlled rotations, and movements that take your joints through their full range help restore function and prepare your body for more demanding exercises. Over time, this improved mobility allows you to train with better form, deeper range, and greater efficiency, all of which amplify the benefits of your workouts. Core stability can be developed through exercises that focus on control rather than motion. Movements like planks, controlled leg raises, and anti-rotation exercises train your body to maintain alignment under tension. The goal is not speed or repetition, but precision and control. When your core becomes stronger and more responsive, every other exercise you perform becomes more effective because your body can generate and transfer force more efficiently. Perhaps the most important benefit of prioritizing mobility and core stability is longevity. These elements keep you training consistently by reducing the risk of setbacks, and consistency is the real driver of hormonal health. It's not about one perfect workout, it's about the ability to show up, move well, and challenge your body week after week, every week without interruption. When your body is mobile, stable, and resilient, it supports a level of training that continuously reinforces the need for strength, energy, and hormonal balance, allowing you to maintain a higher quality of life and physical capability well beyond the age of 50. So when you step back and look at the bigger picture, this isn't really about 5 exercises, it's about reclaiming control over how your body responds to age. Testosterone doesn't disappear overnight, and it doesn't come back through shortcuts, supplements, or wishful thinking. It responds to one thing above all else: the signals you consistently send your body. And today you've seen exactly what those signals should look like. Strength training tells your body to stay powerful. High-intensity intervals remind it to stay fast and responsive. Compound lower body movements demand full body strength and hormonal support. Mobility keeps your system efficient and pain-free. Core stability stability ensures every movement is strong, controlled, and effective. When these elements come together, something powerful happens. You stop training like you're trying to slow aging down, and you start training like, you're telling your body to stay capable, stay resilient, and keep producing what you need to thrive. Because the truth is, most men over 50 are not limited by their age, they're limited by their approach. They either do too little, the wrong kind of exercise, or they become inconsistent. And over time, that sends the wrong message to the body, a message that strength is no longer required. But the moment you change that message, your body begins to respond. This is where everything shifts. Your energy starts to come back. Your strength begins to rebuild. Your confidence rises not just because of how you look, but because of how you feel in your own body again. And the best part, you don't need to do everything, you just need to do the right things consistently. So instead of asking, what's happening to my body as I age, start asking, what am I asking my body to become? Because your body is always listening. And from this point forward, every rep, every movement, every effort you make is a message, one that can either accelerate decline or rebuild strength, vitality, and hormonal balance for years to come.